Welcome back to the podcast. It's Tanner and Corey hanging out in the studio. We're in the studio.
Yeah?
We're in the studio.
Isn't that where we're supposed to be?
Means we kind of got through spring.
You still have stuff to plant.
I do.
But
that's
it's too
okay.
wet. It's too wet. But for most normal farmers, they're all wrapped up.
I know we're back on that summer trip. What do we got coming up? We're going to go to Ag PhD Days in July. We'll be at Tech Hub Live in July. There's a chance we could be at a couple other field days.
Field days, yeah. Just they always pop up, it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Might even be at the old celebration at the Iowa State Fair. Could be kind of neat. It'd be the first time for us setting up at the Iowa State Fair.
I know we always go, but never just as a podcast.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
We got a lot going on. Just like today's episode, we've got a lot too. This has been a guy that we've known for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't really understand him, but...
Oh, I understand him just fine.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I think it's great. We didn't even ask how to say his last name. Do you know how to say his last name?
Oh, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that challenge.
I was going to
Cringe?
say, is it cringeworthy? It's just Marcel.
Is it cringe?
It's a tough name to have in North America. It's Kringe.
Oh, right. Like we would have ever gotten that.
Kringe, yeah. It's a German last name.
Kringe.
And it's the Kringe.
So Marcel Kringe.
We're going to put him through the ringer.
Kind of sounds like Norwegian Kringla.
Oh, I do like Kringla.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is that a last name or is that...
No, it's
a
it's a
cookie.
pastry.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
I don't know if I'll be able to spell
So
it.
I don't actually. This area that you're in right now is very much settled by a lot of Norwegians. So
Interesting.
Actually,
we have a lot
it
of
is-
Norwegian foods and things.
Bakery.
Lefse,
Oh, there it is.
Kringla,
Yeah.
yeah, things of that nature.
It's almost spelled the same.
yeah,
Yeah.
Just got an L in there
Just
for
one
you.
L.
yep. So welcome to the studio, past guest Marcel. We've had you on before, but never in studio.
Yeah, this is cool. Thanks for having me.
So this is kind of a hybrid show. We're actually going to dive into deep to kind of what you do, but we do want to go back and get a little bit more of your background. So let's take us back to little Marcel. And you said you grew up in Germany?
Yes. Good old Germany.
Yeah.
Compared to this, in the mountains.
Okay.
Yeah. More in the hills.
So you grew up in Germany. What part of Germany?
So it's the middle west. If you ever heard about Frankfurt or Cologne area, so kind of between that area, about 500-600 meters above sea level. So there's areas where you can flip a tractor pretty easy.
Okay.
I grew up on a small mixed farm over there.
Okay.
And I wanted to do nothing else but farming in my life. When you asked me as a little kid, what do you want to do? And I want to be a farmer.
Yeah.
So that's like South Central Germany?
Yeah, the western part there where Frankfurt is there
Yep.
in that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said mixed farm. Like what all did you guys grow?
5 cows.
5
We had
cows.
5 cows.
So for milk
big
or
cattle.
beef?
It was beef.
Beef. Okay.
It was beef. Way back in the day, my great-grandparents, they were milking cows back in the day.
Okay.
So what you have to know about that area is a lot of people have jobs in like the metal fab industry or something.
Yep.
There's lots of companies that deliver parts for the auto industry. But then at home, they have a farm, like a hobby farm. Mm-hmm. And most of those farms still exist from back in the day when people were feeding themselves.
Yes.
So great-grandparents and past that, they had this whole stuff to self-supply.
Okay.
So we grew potatoes, we grew grain, lots of grass, like mostly like hay and silage. Mm-hmm. But we had 5 cows, a few horses, chickens, goats.
Very diversified then.
Yeah, rabbits.
Yeah.
Yeah, little guinea pigs. I think that's
Yeah.
what the English word is.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, little guinea pigs and a dog.
Yeah.
And it was 10 acres over like 6-7 different fields.
Okay.
So it's so it's small field, like
Wow.
35 horsepower tractor
Yeah.
with a 1 furrow plow.
Yeah.
And we still have that at home today. 1 furrow plow.
So is the homestead still there?
Yes, my parents live on the homestead. We rented out the acres.
The 10 acres?
The 10 acres, yeah, the whole big land. And then we have still 2 horses at home. My sister is a vet in Germany, so we still have 2 horses at home. But yeah, that's how I grew up with
So
big
it's
time farming.
you and one sibling, one sister?
Yeah, 1 sister. She's 2 years younger. She's a smart one. She's a vet. She's a life and business coach.
Yep.
And she does lots of cool things to help people.
When you were growing up there, like what was a normal meal that you loved, or what did you guys eat? Like, because I just think of like my kids right now here in America, and it's always just like chicken nuggets or French fries or a cheeseburger. And I think of Germany like Wiener Schnitzels and whatever, you know, like
You just wanted to say that. That's
I
the only
did.
reason
Yeah.
for the question.
You would get
Wiener Schnitzel. Yeah, that's what I wanted to.
sound really German.
Yeah, see, what was the staple?
Like schnitzel is definitely one of my favorites over there.
Okay.
Germany is very much meat potato kind of country.
Yeah.
So Jäger Schnitzel. So if you translate it, it's the hunter style schnitzel.
Okay.
Which hunter style sauce means it's a mushroom sauce.
Okay.
Gravy, I guess I should say gravy.
Yeah.
And then you have there it is. And then you have potatoes with it.
Okay.
And the other thing is, have you ever heard of currywurst?
No.
Currywurst.
Curry sausage. So you take a normal bratwurst,
Yeah.
and they cut it in small pieces,
Okay.
and then you put it besides fries, and then there's like a gravy that's a bit more curry style.
Okay.
It's not thick; it's thin.
Spicier, maybe?
It's a little spicy.
Yeah.
And then you put ketchup and mayo on the side.
Okay.
So you have curry
so
sauce,
hungry.
ketchup, mayo, and fries, and that's kind of what you eat at a tractor pull or
Yeah.
at a festival or something.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing.
Was there a lot of kraut, like sauerkraut, or not?
Yeah, also sauerkraut.
Yeah.
Yeah, not as much as it maybe as
what
we're
you
known
think.
for.
I
Yeah.
love sauerkraut. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite. On that
Red-
mushroom sauce,
Yeah,
was that like a foraged mushroom, like out in the woods? Like, did you guys have truffles or things, or am I thinking more of like UK, Europe,
truffles might be more in France.
France? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For us, it would just be like a normal farm grown
Okay.
mushroom stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we wouldn't be too fancy
Okay.
with that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So there's your off the rails.
I like it.
I like to get cultured from people that were there, right?
Well, I knew what schnitzel was, but until I put it up on the TV, I didn't realize that, what it can apply to. It's various different kinds of meats.
Yeah.
It's just the way it's prepared.
Yep.
Yeah, you hammer the heck out of it. Basically, is what
Yeah.
you do. You flatten it all out and then you bread it.
Yeah. It's like a tenderloin here, but it is for any type of meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tenderized. Yeah. Okay.
And
That's
always next to potatoes.
Yep.
So how long did you live in Germany?
I lived there till my early 20s.
Okay.
When kind of the farm wasn't big enough to make a living off, so I had to do something different.
Yep. Do you go to, would you call it university, college there?
Yeah.
Or
So it's a bit different in Germany. So I finished high school when I was 16. And that means when you are 14, 15, you basically need to know what you want to do.
That's pretty young.
That's
wow.
Corey still doesn't know what he wants to do.
No.
right. So, but the good thing with me, I guess, was that at least for me looking back, I always wanted to be in agriculture. For some reason, that was ingrained in me. There was nothing else I wanted to do. I always wanted to farm. I'm not farming. So that's one of those things that it just never happened.
Yep.
But to make a long story short, finished high school with 16, and then I started an apprenticeship as a farmer, we call it.
Okay.
So it's apprenticeship for agriculture, where when you're done, you are a skilled farm laborer. Mm-hmm. And in Germany, it doesn't matter if you want to become a farmer, a hairdresser, an accountant, electrician. It's a 3-year apprenticeship.
So it was treated more as like trades. Like if you wanted to
Yes.
go be an electrician here, you would go to a
Right.
journeyman school or, for that.
Right. It is an official trade. And the cool thing about agriculture is you actually have the option to live with that family on the farm. So let's say you are a farm that does this apprenticeship program. You would then choose your apprentice every year, a different one. And then they would live with you in the family. So I basically was the 5th child or the 3rd child in the family. So you have breakfast, lunch, supper with them. You live with them. They take room and board off your paycheck. So, the first year, I think you make $100 a month.
Yeah.
It was compared to my buddies that went into the real trade, it was rough, but that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then for that, to finish that story, I had to move away a couple hours because I grew up in this area where it's mostly hobby farming. Mm-hmm. So I basically had to move to an area like Iowa where people were doing full-on grain farming, big dairy farmers.
In Germany?
In Germany, yeah. So I moved away from home when I was 16 and probably broke my mom's heart there, unfortunately, because I never moved back in.
Right.
But I was pretty young when I moved away. And then you work every second weekend, and every other second weekend you're off, and you're allowed to go home.
Sure.
So
Well, I think they'd have to. I mean, for how young these apprenticeships are, I mean, you need your parents.
Yep.
You need your family.
Yeah, and you know, you kind of grow up with a different family then, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why it gave me something in life, because now I can walk into a room, I don't know anybody, and I just kind of start talking to people because I was kind of...
Well, that's how we met.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I bet that just a whole different perspective. It makes you grow up pretty fast and gives you just like I said, a whole nother perspective on life. You get to see basically another family and how they work, compared to your own. But,
And you see it all, right? Because
Yeah.
you're part of it. Like you see all of it.
Yep.
So it's not just the work; it's also the family life and the balance. And something goes wrong on the farm, and you see the stress
yeah.
and the good stuff.
Yeah. So
And then-
where would that have been that you went to go get to the Iowa of Germany, or the Midwest of Germany?
Yeah. So it was about 2 hours north from where was it called? It's called Münster. Muenster.
Like Munster cheese?
Like the cheese?
Yeah, Münster, Germany. There, yeah. So there, it has this funny letter in it.
Ah.
The
U with
you
two
called
dots.
umlaut. Yeah. So I was south of Münster there, and there's more of an agricultural area, lots of livestock, farms that farm full time, and then every year you have to go to a different farm. So the first year I did sows, like pigs, feral to finish,
Yeah.
with grain farming. Second year I started into dairy farming with the silage with it, and the third year was beef cattle, dairy, and then the whole grain crops and silage. So you kind of see everything, every stage along the way, and then once or twice a week you go to school. So then you go to school and you'll learn the theory of it all, how to manage a farm, or how to do the cropping and the fertilizer application, calculations of nutrients, all that kind of fun stuff. And
Wow.
and at some point your farmer boss says, "Okay, we're going on vacation, buddy. You got this farm here for the next 7 or 10 days," and then you are there with 120 sows and feral to finish, and like you're 16 years old, and you're like,
Got it.
"All right,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
have
didn't
fun."
know farmers took vacations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't
Apparently
happen
in Germany they do.
Doesn't happen often, but it does.
Yeah.
When you have an apprentice.
That's right.
You can go.
I suppose when you know that you're going to have an apprentice there, maybe you might plan a little easier.
Right. So that happens.
So you did the 3 years.
Did the 3 years.
Then what happens? They don't give you a farm to run, or do they?
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love that. So you have different options. You can start working on a farm, like as a skilled laborer, or you can decide to go further in school. And I got to give a lot of credit here to my teacher at the time, Irvin Custer. And he looked at me at some point. He says, "You don't have a farm at home, and you know what? There's not many jobs out there right now. You better keep going to school." I was like, "I don't want to go to school. I just want to work. Like, I just want to farm." And he pushed me pretty hard. He says, "Well, you should keep going to school,
Yeah.
because you never know how you can use it." And then one of my other buddies that sat beside me that I met in school, we looked at each other and we went, "Well, why don't we go and do this 1-year program that then allows us to go to university after?" And we looked at each other and we said, "As long as you're still here, I'm still here." And that's how we pushed each other through that year of, I think you can translate it to like an ag diploma, 1 year of ag diploma. And that allowed us then in German regulations to go to university. And then we did university. So I studied, it's an ag engineering degree, they call it, which now translates, they adjusted since to Bachelor of Science in Agriculture.
Oh yeah.
But ours says like engineering, and then it was a mix between agronomy, cropping, livestock, and then in the end you can decide which you want to go in deeper.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's pretty diverse education with all of this that we were able to see, which is, looking back, it's, in the moment you probably didn't know how much it really was and how much you should appreciate it.
Yeah.
But looking back, we were able to see a lot of cool things.
Yeah. So you got done with that, and obviously you're not in Germany anymore.
He's still in Germany, but
Yeah.
he's not now.
Yeah. So how did we get to where we are today?
How much time do you have?
We're here with you.
Yeah, we got time.
Well, I was always interested in adventure and learning something new and different things. And I kind of reflected on the way here about this. When I was in my 3rd year of my apprenticeship, I was on a dairy farm. And we put on a field day and we grew different corn varieties for silage. And then the seed reps would come out and they do presentations on dairy farming and corn silage in the U.S., actually about Iowa in certain areas. And they showed us these massive pictures of, multiple choppers going and big harvesting bunker silos. And I was like, man, this would be so cool to see one day. So it kind of fascinated me a little bit. And I asked them, I said, do you have an email address from those guys? Like, can I call them? And it was just, there was the days before smartphones before Facebook and all that fun stuff. So anyways, I was just always curious about it. And then one of my now really good friends, but he was the son from one of my apprenticeship bosses. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place.
That's all right.
But he went to Canada for almost a year when I was working on that farm. And he came back and he basically said, you have to go to Canada one day. Like, you have to see North America, man. Yeah. And he brought back those, the pictures when you still had to, when you had the old style cameras where you have to give your film away. And
Polaroid
and you give your picture, get your pictures
Kodak
back.
film.
Yeah. So then we sat there at night, we looking through the pictures, and he brought Crown Royal back, and it's like, you look at those semi-trucks, look at those big tractors and fields, you got to see it one day.
Yeah.
And that kind of got the bug into me. And then I went to Eastern Germany, worked on the farm there for a summer. And then the first summer of, I guess what's the best way of saying it is, I call it summer vacations in university, like summer break.
Summer break,
Yeah. I went to a farm in Manitoba in Canada, in the middle of Canada. And they were farming 4,000 acres, big articulate tractor and, a couple of combines rolling and with 35-foot header. And I thought I'd seen it all. Like, I was in heaven. Like if you would have told me as a 16-year-old Marcel that one of these days I would drive through the U.S. and work with farmers in harvest and work with the custom crew of do the 2,000-mile harvest, I would have never slept a night in my life anymore until it happened. So I was always kind of curious about that. And I kind of got stuck in university. I finished my university writing my thesis about telematics with a big German combine manufacturer. It was one of the first ones they had it. And then after that, I had a decision to make to which area I want to go to. And I ended up in Canada. Even though I had some really good times in Russia before that. I spent 2 seasons in Russia besides university. We're building some larger farms there from 0 to 80,000 acres in a 3-year project.
80,000?
Yeah. So,
whoa.
So it's been fun. Like, looking back, it's been fun because I'm very fortunate the people that I've met, people I was able to work with, that I was able to work on the smallest fields in the world with the 1-furrow plow with Grandpa, and then I was able to work on the largest fields in the world in Russia or North America.
Wow. So what crops would that have been in Russia? Is that? 80,000 acres, that's got to be a variety of crop.
Yeah, so a lot of spring crops. So wheat, barley, a lot of canola. They were looking at potatoes at the time, but that never happened. And then they got into sunflowers and corn later on as well. But that was one of those funny stories where I came back from Manitoba, 4,000 acres, and like I said, I thought I seen it all. Like, I'm happy.
Yep.
And I'm walking through university, and there's this job board, and there's this job that says, looking for people to, manage a combine crew on this 20,000 acre farm. So that's kind of cool. And everybody's on this thing. Like, people are looking at it and reading, and then they see in Russia, like, very remote, and most people just went, well, it's remote. We want to be to an area where there's more going on. And I went, this is an adventure. I want to do this. Yeah. And I contacted the farm manager. I was with 2 German farm managers there. And we did one in-person interview, and he looks at me and he goes, "You're crazy enough to come work over there."
It's just what you want to hear.
Yeah. So I was like, is that a good or a bad thing?
Yeah.
And that was some 2 seasons that were, I learned a lot. It was my early, like, I was 19, 20, around that age. And you come into an area where now you're responsible for harvesting, like, with multiple combines. And you're trying to teach people how to set up equipment, and you don't speak the language, because that's a tough language to learn. If you think German is hard to learn, that language is hard to learn with all the Cyrillic different letters.
Yeah.
So I'm there with hands and feet, my little translating book, because again there was no smartphones.
Yeah.
And then you're in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of people. You have 15 truck drivers and semis. You have a couple of grain carts. You have a bunch of combines, and you're like, yeah, okay, you start over there and start over here. Like it was wild. It was, looking back. We can talk about just those 2 seasons probably on 3-hour podcast.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think of how you look at a 3-year plan to go from 0 to 80,000. Like, are they acquiring ground? Are they taking over rentals? Are they?
That's a good point. So if you want to talk about this for a bit, which I love to, so first off, I want to say what's happening there right now is horrible. Okay, like there's really good people on both sides of that border, and we farmed right on the border. So I was on the Russian side towards the Ukrainian border, and our headland was the border.
Yeah.
Like you would jump over a bush and you would be in Ukraine. People have absolutely been amazing over there, treated us very well. So seeing what's going on there now is very heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But looking back, everybody was so friendly, but you had to show that you were thinking for them. Like you couldn't be the German or the American going there, I'll tell you how it works.
Yeah.
And that's not my nature anyways, but you had to really show them that, you want to learn the language. Mm-hmm. And they taught me all the swear words first. So that got me a lot of, thankfully, respect.
Yeah.
The German was swearing about the German farm equipment harder than the Russians were.
Yeah.
So they loved that. But what they were doing is, so after the Soviet Union kind of fell apart there and they all got privatized, a lot of investors went to like central Russia, Voronezh area, where the perfect like black soil is, but it was very dry. And in other areas where these big state farms kind of fell apart, people just kind of took back their own land that they had to put into a state farm like decades earlier, and they just farmed enough for themselves. So there is thousands of acres, 100,000 of acres in that country that are not farmed still. So on the western side, a lot of people didn't go and farm and didn't build larger farms because they all wanted to go to the central area because there was the better soil, but less moisture. So these guys went, well, let's go to the west. And there was areas they weren't farmed for a decade or two. So a lot of that area was talking to people, hey, do you want to rent us the land? Do you want to sell the land? And then, so they acquired all this land, and then we were clearing bush. Like we were clearing grass this high.
Yeah.
There was no compaction. Like if you take one of those compaction picks, 2 fingers, you just push it into the soil.
Jeez.
And you just go like coming from a different area in Germany where you're battling compaction and everything else, you're like, this is nuts. If we don't forget to seed, we should have a crop here next year.
Yeah.
So they took all that back into production, and their goal was to build a high quality farm that it's large scale, but able to manage it in a proper way, which sounds crazy in 80,000 acres. But to put it in perspective, my boss always said this is a small farm, man, because he used to work on a 500,000 to 1 million acre farm. I think now they're way over 1 million acres where he used to work.
Yep.
And I was able to see that farm in Siberia for a bit. So it's been, like I said, we can talk for 3 hours about this whole thing, but it was fun.
I love when we have opportunities for part 2s.
Yeah.
There's lots of part 2s, but it's been fun. I learned a lot, and a lot of interesting things to also. That's why I speak with my hands so much, because it's in a different language. You're still trying to explain.
Yeah.
You're trying to say.
I was always told, and I'm not bilingual, but I was always told that you had a language mastered when you would dream in it.
Yeah, good point.
What language do you dream in?
A lot of it is in English. I think in English,
Really?
dream in English. Yes, I speak English and German, but I say that technically I'm bilingual, but I speak both languages worse.
Oh.
Because my German is getting worse. And I don't, I speak English, but I'm not 100% because I learn something every week.
Sure.
It's like, I never heard that before.
Yeah.
Oh, I should say it this way? Why didn't nobody tell me this 10 years ago? I'm saying this for 10 years like this.
And you're saying your German's getting worse because you just don't use it as much?
Yeah, you just don't use it as much. Or, of course, when you go back home after 5 days, it's all back.
Yeah.
But I come home and my friends joke, they say, oh, you have an American accent, Marcel. And then you don't say this in German because my grammatic style is, it's all different.
Sure.
Where you put the words. And, it gets tricky when you start messing up sayings.
Oh.
Like you have a saying in your head and you say it, but now it's half butchered in English and half in German, and people look at you like.
Or you say it
basically, you can't
backwards,
win.
Yeah.
You can't win.
Yeah.
So in my position, people make fun of me over here, and people make fun of me back home, and I'm okay. If I can make people laugh,
they're only making fun of you because they can't speak the other languages, right? So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
I think you're good.
yeah. So
We've gotten to you've visited Canada, you've visited Russia. You're not living there.
No. I keep saying long story short probably a few times today. But I had then the chance to go to Russia for a job, go to Canada, or stay in Germany. So Germany was too boring at a time, in quotation marks. Great country, but I was kind of ready for this adventure, you know. And I was always wanting to do something for myself. So, for example, rent some land or maybe do some custom work myself. So I figured Canada might be something where I can do that a bit more easy. So I went there, started working on the farm, and I got to give a lot of credit there to Tomadale Farms in Ontario, custom harvesting crew, and dairy farm. And they do everything from like any machine on the farm that you may use, they have it.
Yeah.
So we did everything. So I lived on a triple mower.
Is it the Dale Family Farms? Or what'd you
No,
say?
it's Toma. Tho. There. Thoma. Tomadale Farms. Yeah. And I don't think they have maybe they have a website yet. So
no, that's fine.
If
Just
not,
was curious.
No,
yeah, Tomadale Farms milking. Actually, yeah, that's the pilot we built while I was there.
Look at that.
There,
That's
yeah.
kinda neat.
Look at that.
dairylane.ca.
Yeah, so
It's
that
you
is
guys that are listening to where we're at.
yeah, so that is the company that supplied the parts for the dairy barn,
Yeah.
and then the Tomadale Farms is where they bought it. Where they installed it.
Right, installed. Yep.
So when I started there, they had like 80 cows in a tie stall barn, and then we built this big barn. So I spent a lot of weeks on an excavator. So I drove everything: excavator, forage harvester, triple mowers, and then we did everything. And then because we weren't busy enough, more excavators, and then we started clearing bush in the wintertime.
Yep.
So that's how I learned a bunch of my real English, I would say, on a two-way radio there. And that's kind of my start in Canada.
Okay.
So you also learned the swear words in English before you probably learned proper English.
Yeah, there was
It's over a two-way radio.
there is lots of funny or maybe funny language barriers that I ran into.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots. Because I told my English teacher in high school every day, you know what? I don't need this language ever again.
Yeah.
Like, why are we learning this? And I'm not a book learner.
Yeah.
I like to go outside and do things. And now she would have not believed this, that we're sitting here on a podcast speaking some English. So I can tell you that.
So you're farming in Canada, helping some farms out. Then you got the entrepreneurial bug.
The West bug caught me first. I wanted to go west.
Oh, you want
So after 3 years, Tomadale Farms, which was amazing, we grew that custom business quite a bit, and then I got my permanent residency, so I can stay in Canada longer. I went west, and then I worked in a couple of farms to see how the West is, and then I became the Cargill agronomist
Okay.
in Manitoba. And then I was exposed to, okay, let's go back to the agronomy roots, and they were looking for somebody with technical experience, and straight cutting canola started to become a thing. Where if you've ever been to Western Canada or Montana, you've seen that a lot of crop gets put in a swath with a swather to dry. Mm-hmm. And now the varieties were changing, and we do all straight cutting in Europe. So all of a sudden, people asking Marcel about, hey, how do we harvest this variety? So all of a sudden I was exposed to harvest technical things, but also exposed to how much money is going into the farms per acre in terms of fertilizer spraying. Mm-hmm. And that kind of opened my eyes to, wow, like there's a lot of inputs going in here. How do we protect most of this? And out of that, helping farmers setting combines kind of started this hobby that now became a global company. That's really how it started.
Okay. So you went west first, and then what year would this have been, roughly?
I went west in 15. 14
or 15.
Yeah.
Have you been to the U.S. yet? United States? Have you
At that time?
At that time?
No, I had not been to the
Okay.
U.S. No.
And was that ever a goal, or did that come after you started the business?
That came really after I started the business. I tried once to come to the U.S. when I was in university to do the custom
Custom harvest.
Yeah.
custom harvest. And that year, for some reason, Germans didn't get a visa.
Oh,
And so I've never did
we
it.
wouldn't let you in.
Yeah, basically. they
Now we'll
wouldn't
just let
me.
anybody in.
So now I got a Canadian. I got dual citizen now. I'm Canadian and German.
Okay.
So now crossing the border here is fine. So, and we have employees in the U.S., so they do lots of the stuff in the U.S. and I come down here and do some of these fun talks.
So you said the Cargill agronomist?
Yes.
And through that role, you're learning all this stuff with canola and all that. When was the light bulb moment that you're like, I need to build a business that goes along for these farmers?
Give a lot of credit to the customers I worked with because the farmers were actually pushing me to do it.
Okay.
It was just a hobby. And then I was out in one farm with just a prototype. And they were struggling. They were bringing grain to the elevator, and it had a lot of fusarium in it, like a fungus. And then they were getting docked so much on it. And they said to me, like, well, how come? Like, this is really bad. And some people usually say, oh, just turn the wind up a bit in the combine, just blow it out.
Yep.
Well, but how much? And how do you set this up? And then I was the agronomist, to be fair, that, sold him the fungicides for this stuff, right? Yeah. And now he has fusarium in it anyways, because sometimes the weather is just as bad that you get it in your wheat. So I go out to the farm and drop a bunch of pans to figure out the combine loss and what's coming out the back, what's in the tank. And they came back a week later and they said, Marcel, you saved us $80,000 last week.
Whoa.
If I put all of that stuff together of delivering better quality grain, because all of a sudden the grain wasn't docked anymore. It was like a number 2 now, number 3-ish. Sure. He said, if I do the math on a better quality of grain, because we were able to blow out the fusarium out the back properly and leaving the good kernels in the combine, plus the loss that we reduced, he said, it's probably $80,000 last week. So why don't you get some of those things built and we'll figure this out here because there's lots going on.
So you were using a tool?
Yes, I was basically using a prototype of our SmartPan system,
okay,
which is now we call the SmartPan system, which is the drop pan that we have,
yep,
that we drop magnetically off a combine. So that was one of those first units that we were using on that farm. And that was an eye-opener to, wow, it's not just a relationship builder. It helps somebody put more money in the bin and help them be profitable, specifically because the crop is already grown. It's in front of us, right?
Yeah.
So the potential is there to harvest it. And then the next round was that I had seed reps calling me saying, hey, we were harvesting our new canola varieties, which are pod shatter. And pod shatter means the pods don't pop open as easy. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot harder to thresh now.
Yeah.
And you have to really change your combine settings to keep the grain in and get the pods open. Kind of like a corn variety. Some corn comes easier off the spindle and others don't, right? Yep. And people were just not used to this because the canola prior was all swathed, it was dry, and by the time it's through the feeder house, it's all pulverized.
Yep.
And they said, well, the farmer was saying our variety was bad because it was over 5 bushel less yield as average. Turns out they used our SmartPan, and they realized it was just going out the back. So now they're saying, you know what? Like, if we introduce these new varieties, we need to make sure the combine and the education is there around it because it all ties together to agronomy. And then it's farmers and seed reps saying, you know, that there's something here that I don't think we see right now. And that's kind of how it started. And then good old Vince from RC Farm Arm, he goes, he's also farming. He's one of my first customers, and he goes, you should quit your job. Like, he looked at me very seriously. You should quit your job, man.
You should quit doing this.
I was like, man, I came to Canada with a bag of clothing. Like, I have nothing. Like, I'm a roommate. I'm living as a roommate.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to do this? And that's how it started.
And you developed the pan yourself and all that. Just, you're like, I need to help these guys, and you came up with a solution for the problem?
Well, part of it was eating a lot of dust all over the place, right? Because I was always involved in setting combines, throwing pans, the dangerous way.
Yeah.
Like, first we looked on the ground and trying to figure it out this way, but then you realize it's not accurate enough.
Yeah.
It gets green anyways. So then we try to figure out, well, maybe we throw a pan. Well, one person trips, and that's not a good day. Yeah. So you don't want to do that because that's super dangerous. Or back in the day, you may have seen people with a shovel, right? Mm-hmm. And those combines are getting bigger and faster. So it's not accurate because, Corey, you may put that shovel in for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I'll put it in for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So there's no accurate comparison.
Yeah. And which shovel did you grab?
Yeah. Yeah, and again, yeah, exactly, right. And then also doing the math behind it. Like, okay, I got 5 kernels. Well, what does it mean?
Yeah.
How big is a shovel?
Yeah.
When did it fly out? So I can't take all the credit for all the design because it was a very rough prototype in the beginning, just as a fun of it to eat less dust. And then once I started working with these farmers, they connected me with a really great metal company, and they went, oh, yeah, we can build it this way, we can bend it this way. And we have a really good team in the company that is really good in R&D and drawings and designing. So I always say that, I'm the visionary with a passion, but I also want to give credit where credit is due to the team.
Well, it's planting season for some, and others have corn popping up in rows. So I think it's time to start thinking about harvest.
Right. We got to think about harvest and what's going to go in front of that combine. Is it time to upgrade that corn head? Well, maybe. You should start thinking about a Maya corn head. Why, Tanner? Because Maya corn heads are awesome.
You can't say that.
I can say that. I can. They have a 3-year unlimited acre warranty. They got all the bells and whistles. If you ever have down corn, they run flatter, they run slower. They're just going to get that corn into the combine so it can do its job.
That's right. Check out mayacornheads.com or follow them on social media to learn more today.
Yep.
And the farmers that pushed me and helped me in the beginning.
And the business name was Bushel Plus?
Yes, that's right. Started with Bushel Plus because it was basically, I know it was catchy and it was just close to Bushel Plus makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't have a marketing plan in my head. I didn't have a strategic plan. It was all just happening. And it was fun, but it was wild. Yeah.
And now your sweatshirt says something else.
Yes. Now we're going to BranValt as the global company name or global rebrand for the company, because lots changed since. I'm just talking about how I was just doing this in my basement, helping a few farmers. Today we have customers in 45 countries.
Wow.
And we have close to 30 employees. We have 4 employees in the US and 1 in Australia. So it changed a lot. And so we became more of a global company. So we were looking for, what reflects still innovation and saving grain on a global scale where maybe other people cannot relate to the word bushel, because bushel is a measurement used in North America.
Right.
And then on the other hand, we also acquired a couple other companies over the last few years. So it really kind of blew up in my face in a positive way. But now we have multiple brands that we don't want to confuse. So we're bringing everything together under BranValt and then have product lines under BranValt as the main company. So we have the SmartPan System, our Mad Concaves, our Mini Combine, our Harvest Academy, all under that BranValt thing. And BranValt is still rooted in agriculture for Bran as from Brandon, Manitoba, where we're from. Bran as the outer layer of the grain kernel, where all the vigor is in, and all the vigor and the passion, let's say.
Yep.
And then vault, kind of a wordplay to, keeping every kernel secure in a vault.
Yeah.
It's kind of where the wordplay is coming from, and then taking that as a global brand to grow the company to the next level.
Yeah. Has the drop pan changed much since you kind of perfected it in the early days?
Yeah, especially our app has changed quite a bit.
Okay.
So in the beginning, if you go back to, I was doing Excel spreadsheets with formulas in it to make it easier for people to figure out after they put the.
Tanner,
you like it?
Tanner would like that.
Yeah. So you like this. So when you work in a German Excel spreadsheet, which I had a German computer at the time, the dot. When you have like 3 dot something, you guys use a dot, we use a comma. But you use a comma, and I maybe butcher this now, use a comma for the thousands.
Yep.
So, and again, I didn't quite realize that in the beginning. So I'm building these spreadsheets and I'm laminating them at Staples. This is me, Marcel, doing it all basically at the time, which was fun days. And so I'm at Staples laminating all these things and putting it in each box and making sure making sure the formula is good. And then somebody said one day, like, why is this a comma here? I'm like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, is it 1,000? It's like, no, that's like a 0.3 here, like it's for bushel and whatever. And it's like, yeah, but that's not right. So then I realized that difference. So it's all these things as an immigrant, I guess, things you learn the hard way sometimes. But that's how it started. So that grew into a real platform that is now our Smart Drop app that comes with the system. So now we can actually drop the pan from our app. So it has a product-to-product Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So we can drop it from the cab, pick up wherever you are in the field, connect to it, drop it. It tells you if the pan dropped and roughly where. And then it breaks it down, not just a small calculator to a bushel per acre.
Yeah.
We can now calculate it properly for any type of combine that's out there for different chaff distribution styles. So for example, some combines, they only chuck the chaff to the sides and nothing in the middle. So if you would be checking in the middle of the combine behind, well, there's no sieve loss because it's all chucked from the chaff spreader to the sides. So we automated all of that with icons and visual things in the app that one of our customers, she said once, if you can take a phone call on an iPhone, you can navigate this app. So we made it easy and simple, and it breaks it down all the way to dollars per hour loss, and then value to bring it back into, of course, value because we want to save that, and dollars per acre. So it puts things more into perspective than before. You can save machine settings in it, variety. You can put picture in, notes, so that basically it's instead of just a tool, it became a system to learn more about the entire machine. Because now you have the measuring, the results, and the context to what does it mean. And if you found a good setting, you can save those settings in there. And then next week or next year, when you go into similar conditions, you have a starting point already.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if you have automation or not, but it's basically became a full circle platform for a farmer to use.
Doesn't your combine, though, tell you if you're losing grain out the back?
Oh, there's some simple harvest loss, but that needs calibrated too.
Correct. That's
Right?
You got that right. Yeah. That's why we exist.
Sensitivity,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Right? So there's little numbers you can change in there. And
You can fool yourself very nicely when you're sitting in the cab and turn the sensitivity down.
yeah.
How many people do you think ever get out to check? Just get in the combine and go.
I mean, I would, in good faith, I feel like everyone in the beginning probably gets out. It's like my rant about planting. You are a completely different person the first couple of days than from planting to the last couple of days of planting. Your give a shit goes out the window. and like, it's just like, I just want to get it done. I don't care what depth the seed's at. I don't care what my population is. It's kind of like that, I think. You know, you're out there the first couple of days like, oh, what are we losing? You do some adjustments, and then you're relying on your harvest loss monitor. You might see a little difference between moistures or varieties, hybrids, but I would say it's not an everyday thing. Maybe some are. I don't know.
So what are your recommendations? I mean, obviously, if the first guy you ever worked with said that you made him $80,000 in a week.
Yeah.
Even at exchange rates from the Canadian dollar, that's still a lot of money.
It's still a lot of money.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
call it, what is that, 50,000 US?
How often are you advising your customers to drop a pan?
Yeah, so what you guys are saying is 100% right. You're a different person the first day versus the last day.
Yeah.
100%. And that's why it was so important for us to make this easy and simple. So our suggestion is at least a couple times a day. And a lot of people that listen to this now go, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
But here's the reason why. When you start in the morning, put the fuel in, you can put the SmartPan on the combine, and then you start driving, you start setting it up, you drop it once, you have a benchmark.
Yeah.
Right? And then either in the afternoon or late in the evening. And the late in the evening is important because it will either tell you that you should have stopped an hour ago, or you can keep going because it's still going well.
Yeah, because a lot of times you get those moistures come up, the plant material gets a little sappy, or that it harvests completely different, especially like in soybeans. It starts getting tough and
and we have customers do it once every hour. Like we have customers doing it once every hour. They're on it. They they know how much money they can save on the grain.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing too, that we never want to say that it's the farmer's fault or the driver can't set the combine. That's not our philosophy. Our philosophy is you can't manage what you don't measure. Mm-hmm. And if you don't check, you don't know. What does it mean? It could be something wrong in the combine. The sieve could fall shut all of a sudden by accident or something broke, and the monitor still tells you it's up on 20. But you don't know, and now your sensitivity on the loss sensor doesn't reflect that. So the kernels are hitting the sensor, but the display doesn't show you. So for us, it's not just checking what's the grain loss on the ground right now and what can we save. It's also calibrating the loss sensor. So the display in the cab is telling you what's actually going out the back. And it doesn't have to be your fault. It could be anything on that machine.
And you advise everybody to do this in all kinds of crops. We've got majority of our listeners, would you say, Corey, are corn and soybeans?
I'd say the majority, but I mean, we've got listeners in canola. We got a lot of Canadian listeners in canola country, wheat country, rice. We get a lot of rice listeners.
We do a lot of rice.
Yeah, we get a lot.
Yeah, we do basically anything you can put through a combine, we measure and we have worked with. And it really started in the beginning in Canada with canola because it was important to do. And then, they realized, oh, I used it in my wheat. And I didn't realize we can do this in wheat. Or what I mean by this, we can do this, what can we save?
Sure.
And then we had a seed soybean grower started using it, and I said, wow, you know what, like seed soybeans are expensive.
Yep.
So we want to make sure we keep it all. And it kind of trickled into soybeans and corn. And a lot of times in the past, we've heard, corn you can see on the ground. It's not that bad. However, when you start using it and you really look on the ground and then compare to the pan usually shows you 2 to 3 times more loss than you may thought was on the ground. And here's the reason why. When you look on the ground, you oftentimes look for the thick plum kernels, right? But then you don't see the broken ones, you don't see the smaller ones, you don't see the stuff that kind of fall into the cracks. You go into some of the Red River Valley up there when it's dry, the cracks are this big in some of those soils, right?
Yeah.
So it's about having an accurate measurement and accurate ground truthing. What this is really about in the end of the day.
Yeah. The pan will tell you now or in a couple weeks after it rains.
Yes.
The neighbors will tell you when they drive by your field.
Yeah.
It's like, what, do you got to spread a cover crop out there?
Yeah. So corn and soybeans became really big for us, and especially now where, the marketing of the OEMs is also telling people, you know what, hey, this is actually very important. So it comes full circle, and it's super important for anyone. For the reasons I just said, it could be the combine. It doesn't have to be you.
Yep.
You can be really good at setting a combine, which is awesome. Using the system will still help you to be more efficient, and here's why. I had somebody asking me, but what if I buy this and I drop it and I realize I have no loss? Are you giving me the money back?
Are you giving me that?
I said, well, how about this? If you find that out, why don't you drive faster and push that machine?
Yeah.
And change some settings, and all of a sudden, you can harvest more acres per hour. And I go, that's interesting. I said, yeah, because when you compare it, Grandpa used to be the first one saying, you can't drive this fast when you push the combine. But now you have a system that can prove and check when you drive half a mile or a mile faster.
Yeah.
We had a farmer in the UK where they do a lot of fall seeding, like winter crops. Yep. And he had bought a brand new combine that was new to him and as a brand, bought a system from us, said, I want this system because I don't know the combine. It's new to me.
Yeah.
So he pushed the combine so hard that he finished his harvest 3 days earlier.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it gave him 3 more days and 3 more nights to plow the fields, which they do over there, and then also seed. And his neighbors were looking at him like, well, usually you're messing around another week with this stuff.
Yeah.
And it was not that the combine was bigger. It was not that the combine was a lot different than the one he had before. He said, you know what? I can feel confident now pushing the heck out of this thing.
Yeah.
And these rotor machines, they want to be full.
They do want to be full. And not to mention how much is that depreciation on the hour of the machine running for 3 more days.
Exactly.
Especially you get into these
fuel
last 10 and 11 combines. Holy cow. You have to push a bunch of acres through those just to justify them.
Exactly. And fuel too now. Fuel is, I don't want to bring up touchy topic, but fuel's up too for everyone. So all of that
just hope by
stuff.
the time this podcast comes out that it's not, but I doubt
Yeah.
It's only a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So we're pretty far in advance. We're back to just in time.
I had my
recording.
spring needs met, but I just had to fill up a little bit with some $5 plus diesel last week. I was not happy about that.
Yeah. So let's put it in a positive way. It's all about saving and capturing the potential. Mm-hmm. Really capturing the potential.
So what's your recommended, I don't know, margin of error willing to accept loss? Is that different on every farm that says, okay, I'm good with a half bushel loss, or is 2 bushel standard?
Yeah. That's always a great question. In average, you can say, we're shooting for the 1 bushel loss. but it also depends on your yield, right? And what the conditions are. Like if the thunderstorm is chasing you in the back, I'm sure 2.5 bushel or more is fine because you just want to rip it off.
Yeah.
That's fine. But if you have the time and you learn about it, we're trying to shoot for the 1 bushel, but it depends on your conditions too. If it's really green and wet and you really can't get it under the 2 and you just want to get it off, so be it. So it's really farmer customer preference. At the end of the day, this is the tool that can help you make smarter decisions, essentially, what that is.
Have you ever gotten somebody set up on no loss?
No, the no loss is we're very little. Yes, so we've done very little, but it's the combine emptying out on the headland and coming back in. There will be a little bit of that. So we've been very close with lots of things.
Yeah.
I think the thing to remember on this is you will learn more about your machine. So customers come back to us and they say, in the first year I messed around with just the loss. But the second year I realized how much more I knew about the machine.
Yeah.
When I changed the sieves, now I dropped the pan, it did this. And now I'm learning how to set it up better.
Yeah.
So even if I say, you should check a couple of times a day, next season, you are more confident in the changes you're actually doing. And then there's a bunch of stuff that we actually talk about in our Harvest Academy, which we do a lot of education. So Harvest Academy is our educational part of the business, where we do anything from half an hour pep talk on some topic for anyone that invites us, essentially, about a topic, harvesting related, or we can do a 5-6 hour combine clinic front to back, where we crawl through the header, feeder house, the whole machine, and we rip some things apart and look at it with farmers. And that's a lot of the things we talk about there, people can do before harvest. So that when the dust is flying, you can be confident and ready to have certain things going. Because I want to take the fear away from people thinking, we don't have the time for this and it costs money. Well, it's just calibrating your air seeder or calibrating your planter, your sprayer. At some point, you have to make sure you know how many seeds per acre you're putting down.
Yeah. Yep.
It's part of the comparison there, and that's where the passion kind of comes in. And
You are passionate.
I might hire him just for 30-minute pep talks. It might not be about harvest, but I just
yeah, we can talk entrepreneurship.
I need a pep talk.
You don't know how cute his sister is. Remember, she's a life coach too. Maybe you just want 30 minutes with Marcel's.
She's a lot smarter than me too. She's a lot smarter.
Yeah. Does she speak English?
Yeah. Speaks English. Yeah.
I need a pep talk.
What a fantastic challenge that you've tackled. You've overcame not only new product without a pot to piss in to begin with, right? Bootstrapping, making this into a full-fledged worldwide company. Speaking lots of different languages, dreaming in some of them.
It's the underdog story.
But it's not the only thing that's a part of your underdog story. You were doing this from a hospital bed for a long time.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, I do not recommend. Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, if we go back in time here, I quit my full-time job in 2018 in the summer. And then in the fall, in October, November, I went to Australia because we had a dealer ordering a couple pallets of the SmartPans. And I went down there, rented a car, and I drove from dealer and farm to farm just to say hi because people were connecting with us on Twitter. Twitter was the thing at the time, now X. And unfortunately, I got into a really bad car wreck. And by the time they got me out of it, it wasn't really looking good. And I just had quit my job, so I was self-employed. I had a couple of people working with me at a time that kept the company going. And first things first, I'm okay again. And the other person involved in the other vehicle is also okay again. Good. That's the biggest thing for me to say. And it was a freak accident. And at the end of the day, is 2 cars collided on a country road. And when they got me out of it, when they finally figured out what was happening, is I had 12 fractures down my spine, top to bottom. I had my shoulder kind of broken in half up here. The fractures almost met. My left arm, that's why I see those weird bubbles here. My left forearm shattered. Rib cage shattered, a bunch of ribs broken. And then I had a left open pelvis break, so that was out. And then inner bleedings, essentially. So the doctor said, the professor, he was from Switzerland working in Australia, And he said, you know what? You are like one hair, like a millimeter left or right away from either being in a wooden box 6 foot down or in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. Like you have so many fractures, but nothing shifted. Like everything stayed intact that way.
Yeah.
And then thankfully, the people that found us, a lot of people down there in the countryside and farmers are trained on first aid and the firefighters, and they didn't move me. So I could have been paralyzed or in a wooden box a few times by the time they got me to the hospital because I was far away. And the flying doctors in Australia actually got me to the hospital throughout that night. And that's one of the reasons why we are passionate about, when we can, we want to help and donate to those causes. And in Canada, there is a big thing. It's called Stars Ambulance. It's the helicopter. Doctors essentially that fly around, and they're all financed by donations.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, by donations. So, so I have a lot of people and things to be thankful for in my life, grateful, because I would not be here without my friends, without the customers, without my family. Because when I was in the hospital bed, when I kind of was, I was out for a couple of days, and the call,
I would imagine, yeah,
the call my parents got is he's not going to make the night. I get an accident, he's not going to make the night, and then farmers, customers, and friends, farmers. Here's the thing: a lot of my customers became friends in Australia and other countries. You probably have similar experiences,
Absolutely,
right? You
yes.
start working with people, you get along, and they're just great people. And I owe them a lot. And they worked trade shows for me. So we had my friends and customers were working trade shows. And when I woke up in a hospital bed, I was talking about Ag Days. Because Ag Days is in January in Canada, and this was in November. And then my sister arrived, thankfully. She flew down to Australia to help me out for a couple of weeks. Thankfully, she got time off. And then the nurse assessed her. He keeps talking about Ag Days. Like, what is that? She goes, oh, well, that's a trade show. He said, well, you got to tell him, he's going to be 6 months out.
Yeah.
He's not going to go anywhere. So there was a lot of things going on. And again, that's a part 3 for a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah.
But and I want to make sure I reference this the proper way here, because again, I'm so grateful and thankful for all the people that have helped me along the way here, because my sister coming down there and a friend from Brandon coming down, my friends from Brandon, once soon as they heard it, they threw all a bunch of money on the table and said, well, who's going down there to help? And then we had one of our friends, Debbie, flew down there and helped me and my sister, because turns out my sister broke her arm when she was down there on like the 3rd or 4th day. So my mom got a little older, unfortunately, through that time.
Yeah.
So what happened is, I have to tell you that story because it's just, I have to tell you 2 stories, okay, really quick. The agronomist there in the area gave her, and he's going to feel so bad when he hears it, but hey, you're okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
It gave her a bicycle so that she could bike back and forth from where she was staying to the hospital.
Yeah.
And then the spokes came loose
Oh no.
like this, and then she went right over the bike and she fell on her left arm. So now I have this scar here. So we have one picture from Australia where her arm is normal, and every other picture we both have our arm in a sling. So then our other friend, helped us in Australia, and the same doctor that fixed me fixed her in a surgery. Jeez. And it was just wild. And here's the thing: she is a pro athlete on the bike.
Oh.
Like that, her hobby is bike packing.
Yeah.
So all the bike is packed full of stuff, and then she just drives through Europe. She's the second woman in the world that finished the European Divide Trail, which is I think 7,400 kilometers through Europe, from Spain all the way to Norway. It's called the European Divide Trail.
There it is.
Yeah. So she's done that in her life,
Oh my God.
through entire Europe. And then she's I felt so bad for her. And then she's on a bicycle where the spokes come loose and then breaks her arm down there for me. And, it's just, life's just wild. So I'm sitting in the hospital bed telling her who to pay. She's in the online banking and we had nothing set up, no SOPs. Nobody knew who to call. Nobody had my phone number from my parents. So it was a lot of things, learn how to set up a business for worst case scenario, essentially. So lots of kudos to the people that was working with us. And the one story to restore faith in everybody here in humanity, I have to tell you this. I'm sorry. If we go over time, I have to tell you this.
Fine.
When I was down there, I got to check on the name. I'm sorry.
You ever broke a bone, Corey?
Oh, yeah. I've broken both my arms. Broken a metatarsal in my foot. Trying to think if I broke anything else. My nose. I don't think that's just cartilage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I buy you enough time?
Thank you. Perfect. When I was down there, we got a message through social media. I think it was Twitter or Facebook from Lee Radcliffe, who was working as a parts counter at one of our dealerships in Manitoba. And he said, hey, I used to work in Australia. There's this really nice South African family down there that I used to work for. You should go see them and show you stuff. And that was before the accident, okay? This is a story, but I want to make sure I tell it right. Before the accident, so he connected me with that family. I called the family, and her name was Melanie, the lady that is the farmer. And she goes, yeah, hey, no problem. We're custom harvesting down here. You're coming right by. Just let us know. Well, 2 days later, the accident happened, and she never heard from me again. So then Lee got in touch with her in Australia again and said, hey, did you hear about the accident that German-Canadian guy had that called you the other day? She said, no, but you know what? I'll get right on that. So she called every hospital in Western Australia till she found me. Her and her sister-in-law drove 8 hours from where they were custom harvesting in the south all the way to Perth, Western Australia. And she walks in the hospital room, and I was still in intensive care. And I remember her walking in with this bag of toiletries, and she goes, hi, I'm Melanie. How can I help you? And my sister looks at me. She's like, who is that? I was like, I have no idea. And I'm high, like I have all the pain medications in the world in me at this point, right? So I'm half baked in quotation marks.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't know. And she goes, oh, Melanie, we talked about, with Lee and the connection. And I was like, oh, yeah, right. And so they were praying at my bed, and they were, and here's what she did. They were harvesting with a custom crew. They had 4 combines going, 8 hours away. She stayed for a full week in Perth, where usually farmers have a house in Perth in that area, even if they farm outside, so they can come in there in the wintertime and whatnot. So she stayed in her house, and for the full week, she was in the hospital every day, helping me with paperwork, my sister with paperwork, talking to nurses, to doctors, talking to my parents at home, helping out. And I was like, I don't know how to make this good again, ever. She goes, don't worry about it. If my kids ever travel and something happens, I hope somebody else steps up and helps. And then, you know what? She was doing the books at the time for a trucking company that had like 50-some trucks on the road. And she was sitting in the cafeteria, it's a word I have a hard time saying, in the cafeteria, with her laptop in the lunchtime, and was working on all this stuff, then helping my sister and me in the morning and at night. And then for 3 weeks, she expanded this whole thing for 3 weeks. She was working in the area of Perth, and either her or her daughter was helping my sister and my friend and me in the hospital. And then I couldn't leave yet because I wasn't fit to fly. And she goes, don't worry about if you have to stay longer. You just live with us. Mm. And that out of nothing, out of nowhere. And then farmers would be rained out. They would drive to Perth and say hi. Mm.
Wow.
Trevor Thiessen from Radacop, a company out of Canada, he flew to Australia on a dealer trip, and he made a point of coming to the hospital where I was in rehab at a time, and he gave me a pep talk.
Yeah.
45-minute pep talk where he told me about how he started his business, how things were tough sometimes, how he was sick at a time, and when he walked out, he said, Marcel, do not call me in the next 6 months and talk about work. If you start talking about work to me on a phone call, I'll hang up. And it's just people, people have came out of all corners. And again, I could keep going for hours of thanking people and telling you these kind of stories, but from all over the world. My mom at some point said, how many friends do you have? Like every day somebody from a different country gets a hold of my number and texts me about you. So again, I'm very, very humbled. I'm very humbled for the team that we now have in the company at BranValt. I get to speak on these podcasts and people see my face, but man, the people that work with me and are stuck through this with me I'm more than ever humble and grateful for everybody here. It's been a journey and a half.
Well, we know now, right? It's been this way for a while, but every bushel matters. Every bushel counts. We need to have as many that we can at these prices to be able to sell and get our operations into the black as much as possible. If our listeners are curious, right? We started off positioning this episode and we're going to talk about harvest loss and the importance and the total amount of value that can go about this, but your story's just so entertaining.
We did talk about harvest loss.
We did.
Yeah.
And there will be more. I know, because we cross paths almost at every show, and that makes it a great opportunity to do a part 2 and maybe a part 3.
Yeah.
But if they do want to learn more before we get to those parts, how best to look up your business?
Yeah, so website, BranValt, BranValt.com, or still BushelPlus.com is also active. Yep. All social media channels, every platform we're on at Bushel Plus, which is going to change to @BranValt here in July pretty quick. And, send me a message on LinkedIn, DM me on Instagram, wherever. Marcel Kringe or Marcel.worldharvester on Instagram. We're always happy to connect with people and learn. And then you'll hear a lot more about us because we have a strategic partnership with John Deere, where John Deere is officially endorsing the SmartPan system to pair with the automation and all of that fun stuff. So there's more coming from us and John Deere on this whole topic. So it came full circle from a hobby to a John Deere endorsement. So every John Deere dealer in North America right now actually has a John Deere part number for the SmartPan system. So any of those dealers you can walk into, or you check our dealer locator on the website.
That part number thing's a big deal.
It's hard to get.
I don't know what we could put in a John Deere store, but I'd like to someday have a John Deere part number.
I'll have to think about that. Do you know your part number off the top of your head?
Starts with BP. No, actually, we took the BP out. I'm joking. We took the BP out of it. We'll put it in the footnotes.
There we go.
There you go. I like it.
I got one question.
You have 8% of battery left.
Just one question. What is the hardest crop to set a combine in?
That's a good question.
The hardest crop to set a combine in is when there is a lot of moisture and green material. So you can put rice, canola, soybeans at the same spot probably when it's really green and wet, because the moisture kind of sticks. The kernels can stick to the moisture and then travel on the leaves right out the back, and they bypass your loss sensor.
Okay.
And that's why you got to drop a pan, because it bypassed the loss sensor.
I was just figured it was canola, just because. Have you ever seen the kernels? Are they kernels? They're tiny.
Yeah, they're tiny.
It's like a speck of dust.
Kernels.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd be surprised sometimes what you see in corn and soybeans out the back. You'd be surprised, yeah.
Oh, no, we're not surprised. Like I said, you just get Mother Nature to show it to you in about a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh.
Yeah. So
we should get credit for cover crops for those.
Should.
Yeah. Lots.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, good. Pleasure. Thanks again for coming to the studio.
Thank you. This was great. We went all over, which is amazing. Thank you for having me.
And we got more to cover. I love it.
Yeah, it won't be boring here.
Yeah.
That's right. Listeners, thanks for joining us. As always, we appreciate you. So until next time, have a good one.
Thank you.
Next time, we're going to have some Jägermeister.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm going to make sure it's cold.
Said very cold, so that you have to scratch the ice off the edge of the bottle.
It
like
tastes
that.
different.
Yeah.
Like it tastes completely
Get onto
different.
that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go, listeners.
take you
Got to
up
hold
on
us to it.
Yeah. We'll take you up on that.